Welcome to Tuesday Testimonials, where we explore the lives and commitment of the sons and daughters of the University of San Francisco. I'm Frank Allocco, and today I am pleased to be here with Joe Ellis, three-time All-WCC first-team All-Conference player, NorCal Player of the Year, All-American, NBA player, but most important, one of the nicest men you will ever meet. You know, Joe, I've often joked with you that I knew you for a year before I realized who you were. You're such a humble person. You never brought it up. I remember telling you one day that I think I had your basketball card when I was a little kid. Did you play for the Warriors? And you told me you did, and I always found that so interesting that you never brought that up. And all the accomplishments you had, I've always been impressed with how humble you are. So I appreciate that in you. Joe, you know, on February 22nd, your number 31 was retired, just the seventh player in the history of USF to have that honor bestowed upon them. You follow guys Bill Russell, Casey Jones, Mike Farmer, Phil Smith, Bill Cartwright, Ollie Johnson. What does it feel like to be honored alongside those Giants of USF?
It's amazing. It's quite an honor. You know, I never thought in my wildest dream that this would ever happen. But I am really humbled by it that the university thought enough of my contributions to that school to put me in with that elite group of individuals.
You know, and I think really a neat thing about it was knowing you, it was on a day where we were honoring your team. So your team got to share in that moment with you. How special was that to be honored with your team?
Well, it was very special because without those guys, unselfishness, this probably would have never happened. They are as much a recipient of this as I am, though it is an individual award, but the contribution they made was immeasurable.
You know, Joe, you're such an easygoing guy on the outside, but to have the success that you've had, I mean, you're an amazingly competitive guy on the inside. How did you develop that competitive fire?
Well, I've always played with guys that are older and stronger, and they had no pity on me because I was younger. So I had to develop that competitiveness to be able to just to measure up. You know, and I was determined to not let them intimidate me and run me off of that court. So if you got on the court and you lost, you might not see the court again for the rest of the day unless someone else that was coming up picked you on their team. But you know, the older guys generally weren't picking the younger guys to go on their teams. I mean, the circumference of the court was, I mean, it was just packed with people. You know, people sitting in the bleachers waiting. I mean, it was almost like playing a regular game, but it was 3-on-3, and it was brutal. It was actually brutal, and that's the way that's the way you earn your stripes. And you didn't want to be sent down to the other court at the other end to play with the losers. You wanted to stay on that main court.
Yeah. There's such a beauty to that of earning your stripes and being accountable to your teammates and everything else. So, what pushed you, Joe? And did someone push your button to motivate you and take that next step to try to become a great player, not a recreational player?
Well, you know, I just wanted to measure up. You know, I had so many guys that were before me that had accomplished some things, and I just wanted to measure up. You know, and that pushed me. And there were a lot of guys that were a lot better than I was. I mean, in coming up, and a lot of those guys didn't do what they needed to do in the classroom to move to the next level. And you know, my mom always insisted that I make sure that I went to school and did the best that I could. You know, because I'm the first person in my family to go to a 4-year school. So my mother pushed me. She's a single parent raising 5 kids. Wow. And you know, so we I just had to work hard to try to be successful. And she encouraged that. Be accountable.
So you go to USF, you're the first person to attend a 4-year college from your family. That had to be overwhelming. I mean, how did you even navigate that?
It was hard at first, you know, but the university community was really, really supportive. Like I said, I was a very introverted person, and I had no clue as to what was to transpire. So their guidance was really significant in my development as a man and as
I just love being around you and your teammates. I mean, there were some special bonds. Tell me about the success of your teams and the special bonds that have lasted for, so many years. It's pretty impressive.
you know, all of the guys that we played with that were on that team were really high character guys with a lot of integrity, empathy, just really, really good people. And everybody was just so supportive of each other that I can't remember ever anybody having a beef in practice with another player. I mean, we just got along so well. I always joke with Jim Bavelli that I had a fight with him to get the ball. But,
well, Jim was a shooter.
Yeah, he was. But, a lot of those guys, I mean, everybody on that team had to give up something for us to be successful, and guys did that willingly. So I think that was a part of our success that made us such a really good team.
You had an upperclassman on that team who was quite a player himself, another guy who had his jersey retired. But was he like a big brother to you, and Ollie Johnson? I mean, what kind of a figure was Ollie? He's so magnetic.
Ollie was amazing. He was absolutely amazing. I mean, everybody looked up to Ollie.
Yeah.
He was just the epitome of a gentleman, somebody that was really supportive, and we knew when we needed a bucket, we knew where we had. He was simply amazing.
Yeah, and how special was it for you that he flew cross country from Washington, D.C. to be there for the Hall of Fame induction and for your retirement of your jersey? Was that special to you?
That was really special. I mean, every time I see Ollie, it's special. Yeah. It's like you just saw him yesterday, because then nothing really changes, So yeah, it was really something special for him to be there.
You have such a great history, in high school and in college, but talking about USF, what give me a couple of favorite memories that you really had, on or off the court it could be, but what strikes you the most about when you think of USF?
I just think it was the camaraderie. I mean, not just with the team, but the school or the student body as a whole was just I was just incredible. I mean, the way that gym vibrated and roared when we were playing, it was just absolutely incredible. These guys were hanging from the rafters. I mean, everybody in San Francisco was trying to get into that facility. It only holds so many people.
Right. In 1962, right? You're a young player, and you're watching the Warriors playing in War Memorial Gym after they moved from San Francisco to Philadelphia. Even then, now, Joe, you're becoming a player. I know you're humble, and you weren't thinking about all this, but now you're a freshman. You're having some success, and are you now thinking maybe I can play at this level?
No, I wasn't. I really didn't. And I was actually very surprised when San Francisco took me in the second round. Never thought about it. It never crossed my mind that I would play. But I can remember going back to high school in my junior year. My high school coach said to me, there are some things that you need to work on so when you get to the pros that you will have accomplished that. And I had absolutely no idea what he was talking about.
That's amazing. So you finish your 8-year career, and European basketball, which is big now, wasn't big then, is starting up, and you get a chance to go to Belgium, and you take your 2 children and you go to Belgium and play for the Belgium Lions. Was that like the start of the European leagues?
Well, they were, I mean, the European leagues were playing, but when they first started off, there were company teams there.
Oh.
Like Ford Motor Company and those kind of places. They had teams that were playing over Europe. But this league was kind of interesting because there were about 7 or 8 investors that decided that they wanted to start a league in Europe. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, whether I really wanted to come back and try and play some more. And after that experience in Belgium, which was a good one, I just decided that, I'm done, And when we came back home, I kind of sat around and say, okay, what are we going to do? And then I had a very good friend in IBM. He got me some interviews, and I was subsequently hired. And I spent 17 and a half years with them.
Wow. And then at the end of that career, you go back to Park and Rec. I love it.
I went back, which was probably my natural calling from the beginning.
And then you coached thousands of kids in basketball and table tennis.
Table tennis and tennis. Yeah. That's right. It was interesting. It was fun. I had to learn how to do those things before I could try to teach it. I wasn't a great tennis player. I'm a pretty good table tennis player. But, I just had fun. It was fun. It's fun working with kids. You see the enthusiasm, and when they mastered a skill, the way that their eyes lit up was just, that was just amazing. And
yeah.
I really enjoyed and still do enjoy working with them.
Well, I talked to some people that you coached, and everyone says you're calm, your approach with the kids, and your ability to break down a skill and teach it was really set you apart as a coach. So maybe you're right. Maybe that was your calling to go in that direction. But we probably wouldn't have the internet being what it is if you didn't have your influence on IBM either. So
yeah, I'm not sure how much influence that was.
Joe, just one last question I want to ask you. Just why are you still here? I mean, you're at the games. I always see you there with your wife, and you're so supportive, and again, always understated, but your passion for the game is there. You have kids looking up to you. Why are you still committed to the Dons?
Because that's, like I said, that's home for me. USF is comfortable. They've always supported any and everything that I've done or tried to do. I just want to give back or pay forward, whichever way you want to take that. So, and USF is really a special place for me. So, as long as I can, I will continue to support that community.
Well, Joe Ellis, you're a special guy, and I want to thank you for your time and for the difference that you've made, not only as a student athlete, as a great teammate, as an NBA professional, and as a role model for our current students who look up to you. And finally, as a humble man who started at the park and he returned to the park and influenced thousands in your commitment to change the world from here. It's been a great pleasure, Joe. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. My pleasure as well.